think British culture is all about. It's about flags, isn't it? No, it's not. I mean, there's lots of things that are included in There you go.
They're taking you away.
Yeah, eyes up. No, let's think. So British culture to me, well, it depends. I mean, I grew up in a place where we had to do country dancing, which I know was a late addition, but still, it's, I'm nearly 50. Ooh. So that was something that we grew up with. We had Morris dancing, we had May Day, so we had dancing around that maypole. We had the Mayflower Girl. We always had sort of strange and really traditional baked goods, and puddings at the school canteen. We had hymns in the morning, and I think that was even if you were in a school that was non-denomination and kind of like, I think every school, yeah, I'd probably be safe to say that every school had hymns in the morning. I think if you weren't super Catholic, they had quite maudlin hymns, whereas the ones we got to sing were more kind of like Lord of the Dance and Morning Has Broken.
What was your favourite?
Obviously Lord of the Dance, because we all really picked that up. When we would sing to Lord of the Dance, you would definitely raise your voice and go full pelt. I mean, I sound like a braying donkey when I sing, so you can only imagine.
What, really?
Hey. I don't feel like we ever. I always thought, well, the things were really cute. Like we were talking about the other day, how afternoon tea, hundreds of slices of bread with jam and butter on it. Things like not having a mixer tap, having 2 separate taps, scalding hot, freezing cold. Very British. Everywhere else in the world, mixer taps. No one really understands why the British continue to use separate taps. But that's British, isn't it? That's quintessentially quirky, and that's what Britain's about. I also think as well that Britain is very much about inclusivity. So I've grown up where fusion stuff was always happening. So we grew up in a time when Indian food was being made, anglicised. There was people who were putting, the korma, tikka masala. I'm trying to think now. Even when you were saying that you were living in Liverpool, there were chip shops that were always attached to Chinese restaurants, so they would serve chips, but then they would do it with fried rice.
Chinese takeaway, so it was a chip shop and a Chinese takeaway in one.
But that was quite common in Liverpool is what I was saying, yeah. So then you would have this situation where it would be like fried rice served with chips with curry sauce. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm talking about, like growing up where it was all just fused together and we all just kind of didn't even think it was weird until you stop and you go, yeah, 2 carbs do the same job with this,
Get double carbs.
yeah, which is also a very British thing, right? Like if you think about Sunday roasts where they've got the you've got kind of a Yorkshire pudding and then potatoes and then you put cauliflower. Well, it's so carbolicious. But I like that. I think it's funny. These are all the quirky bits about being British, and the fusion between Scotland, English, Wales, Ireland. I know it's controversial, isn't it? Well, all of it's controversial, because if you think about how hideous England were to the Scottish and to the Welsh. Oh yeah, and to the Irish. Well, yeah, but also I think we can safely say that they were also a bit genocidal about Scotland as well. I think the only ones that were kind of...
I think the Irish are very much in recent history.
Oh God, yeah, no. Yeah, it's not comparable. I'm just saying that it would be unfair to say that what they did to Scotland wasn't hugely awful as well.
Yeah. If you're looking back then, that was just the standard. Conquer a nation, murder everyone, and
subjugate, rape their brides.
I think, when we were genociding people of Ireland, that wasn't a standard. That was very much, you know, you had the
they ramped
Sultan
that
of
up.
Turkey like offering to feed the Irish. You had the Cherokee after the Walk of Tears, like raising money for the Irish. You know?
Yeah.
It's not that long ago.
No, it's not. And like I said, there is no way that I'm doing a comparable thing, and I'm not. And in fact, you can honestly say that wherever England have gone,
Genocide.
you know, like a huge
America.
level of atrocities have also followed. But people don't want to recognise that or acknowledge that in Britain. You don't want to acknowledge that 15 million people were starved in Iran. You don't want to acknowledge that 8 million people were starved in Bangladesh. You don't want to acknowledge Ireland is still something that people want to wash over and say that it was a conflict. It wasn't, you know. You don't want to accept that the English had a huge part in the transatlantic slave trade. So did Scotland. You also don't want to accept that killing hundreds of thousands of indigenous people in America, in the Americas, was due to the North and South, was to do with the English. Oh, and let's not forget Africa, India. We probably want to talk about those at some point as well. Oh yeah, and of course we should probably address Australia, because what an absolute colossal mess that was, and yet again another genocide and complete erasure of a people. Because you now actually get people saying I am an Australian, I'm an Indigenous Australian, white Australian, with family from England or Scotland, or and you're kind of like, well,
that's interesting, isn't it? Is that you now have people who say, you know, that because we use the Indigenous thing and these people have rights, you get British people go, but I'm Indigenous, and it's not the same.
No, I mean, you can say that my family have been here for 5 generations, 10 generations, whatever generations you want to say, but you're definitely still not. I think we had that situation as well a lot in South Africa, when you had white South Africans stating that they were Africans.
I mean, I think
and
you
indigenous.
can say that you are African.
Well, but they were
If you're
but
born in Africa.
further to the point, I don't like the finished sentence was like the fact that they were saying, oh no, we're indigenous because, you know, 2 generations, 3 generations. No, you can say that. So like, for example, I will say that I'm British, but my ethnicity is dual. So I think that when you come and, you know, you might be born to a country, okay, you can take on that. You can say, you know, I was born in Africa. Definitely, that's where you were born, and no one's actually going to contest that. But I don't know that makes you indigenous. In fact, I know it doesn't make